Hello folks, welcome back to the most important information that you can get for your life and for the survival of humans on the planet along with the other species. It's the Amazing Education channel. Yes, so I mentioned other species because you know what, we're poisoning the oceans, killing the other species on the planet. So how do we expect, if they're dying off, how do we expect we're going to have a safe planet for human beings, right? Same thing, protecting vulnerable people in our society. We need to protect their rights so that eventually, if it comes down to it, our rights would be protected in return. So if the environment is not good for fish because we're poisoning the oceans, not good for land animals because we're paving over the areas where they need to live and destroying the natural balance, then we're going to have an unbalanced, dangerous world where billions of people will die an early death. And frankly, the human species, people on the planet may not be able to live. And yes, it's true. That's why some people are trying to move to Mars, move to the moon, and move to other planets. Because we're creating an unnatural disaster here, and also increasing natural disasters with our pollution and overpopulation. We're vastly overpopulated, folks. Do you see animals and plants here? No, you see boats and buildings and very few plants and animals. And the water's polluted to the point where it's no longer healthy to eat the seafood and the fish. So we have to wake up. We're headed in the wrong direction faster than ever with technology, and maybe we need to get to a point where we say, you know what, any new technology, you have to look at the entire picture of what it's going to do to the planet and actually even the solar system and beyond, because we put things in outer space that then become a problem. They're a hazard to other space vehicles, and it's space pollution, and we need to solve these problems to avoid huge disaster. And it's luckily people do understand this. We really just need to increase enforcement and come up with solutions and move ahead. But we need to protect the species, we need to protect the people, or it just becomes a disaster. And throughout history we've had environmental disasters and wars and famines and so on. And yeah, it's just a tragedy. It's many cases violation of rights involving murder, etc. And so if we can predict, we're heading in a way with the pollution that people are dying. So if you continue to pollute, it's the same as committing murder. So, and you say, well, what's polluting the oceans? A lot of industrial processes, and we're polluting land and oceans with our power plants. And anyway, but today's topic, I forgot to introduce the topic. So, by the way, it's information you need to know. It's not necessarily about interesting video, but hopefully you can get some interesting fish and views as well. There's a little box puffer fish or something down there, and some pollution as well. Can you see at least that's a natural biodegradable pollution. You can't see the poisonous products and oil and whatnot that's in the water right now. Okay, so as I said, getting back to the topic, it's natural disasters. We've had some bad tornadoes recently, and just a reminder, it's not about the video, it's the information, so it's more to listen to than to watch. Okay, and it's the most important information that is available for your future. So please like, subscribe, comment, and share the videos. If you don't do it, as I said, we're headed in the wrong direction right now. You can't just continue on your current path unless you're working to stop the coming disasters. Because the path that most people are taking on the planet right now is unsustainable and heading toward, just everything is unhealthy to eat. Everything is unhealthy to drink. The air will have to be cleaned and scrubbed for us to breathe it. And I'm not kidding. So yes, we're making progress. It's not that we're not making any progress towards turning around, but we're not making enough. And we're actually increasing the pollution, even though we're developing electric vehicles and solar power and all that. But it's not enough, and we have far too many people on the planet. Okay, so now, why did I mention today's topic is natural disasters, and we had some very bad tornadoes in the United States? Well, first of all, when we cut down trees and we don't live among the trees with houses that are shorter than the trees, then we lose the wind slowing effect of living close to the ground and the trees stopping things. And you got to wonder, why are there so many tornadoes in the Great Plains and that do so much damage? Well, it's because there's without the woods to slow down the damage, there are tornadoes in other places, but they wouldn't do as much damage. And there also may be something about the plains that, just the flat land could allow these tornadoes to occur more frequently. And anyway, we also need to be careful about the kind of construction we do. And as I said, just vastly reduce our population. We're extremely overpopulated. That's another reason you're going to see more and more deaths in the future, because there are more people. And we need to enhance the natural environment rather than destroying the natural environment with all the development and buildings. And I might point out, live-in structures that you can have and survive the natural disasters which occur frequently in whatever area. So if you live in an area that has a lot of let's say floods, the buildings should be designed so that you can survive in that area. Tsunamis, earthquakes, whatever. And so when people have children, and if they don't live in a safe enough environment that the children have very high risk of death, we need to have laws that say, you're violating the rights of somebody that you brought into this world, and they died or what have you, because you didn't live in a proper house, or you didn't, maybe you took them in a vehicle without proper protection. For example, like no child seat, or you didn't have them wear a seatbelt. And so when you crash the car or whatever happened and the child dies, it's your responsibility for their death. Or when I say what I mean is whoever is responsible, the parents or legal guardians, they need to be held responsible for their actions that endangered and caused injuries or death or whatever. And we need to protect young people, old people, etc. And so I think I made my point. We need to have proper housing so that it's safe, and take a look at what natural disasters happen in certain areas, and hold people responsible, and just to stop injustice. We need a world where we think about the future and the actions that we make now that will lead to disasters, and stop people from basically, killing people because they didn't take the correct precautions. And so with using the internet and almost nearly everyone's connected, we can send them warnings and information and, like, okay, you're in a certain zone and certain activities are just too dangerous in this area, and you need to take whatever precautions. And if you don't, you could be legally liable, and so that way we can protect human rights, and also getting back to pollution, stop the pollution, which also protects other plants and animals and humans as well. So we can do it. You just got to think and take the proper steps. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful day. Please think about the future. It might sound bad, but we can just turn things around, have fewer children, and reduce the population on the planet peacefully. I'm always